How can we say that prophets learn and prophets grow and prophets can even make mistakes, but prophets won't lead us astray? This idea of prophets not leading us astray is as old as the Restoration itself. When Wilford Woodruff gave the revelation, quote, "The Lord will never permit me or any other man who stands as president of this church to lead you astray." Well, one of the things I want to talk about with you is what's the difference between leading astray and making mistakes? I think there is a difference, and this might help hopefully resolve some of the tension that's there. If you take a look at this picture, here's a picture of my wife and I with our family. We have 7 children, and therefore we have made a lot of mistakes, and I'll be the first to admit that. If I brought in my 7 children onto this video one by one and lined them up and said, tell all the viewers of this video how many times your mother and father have made mistakes, this video would go on for hours and hours, I'm positive. I've had to repent, I've had to learn, I've had to apologize, I've had to grow. However, I'm confident that if we brought in those same 7 children and said, do your mom and dad lead your family astray? I'm confident that all 7 of my children would say no. They lead us on the right path. They lead us on the right direction. Maybe if I could tap into my inner Elder Uchtdorf, if I could give an airplane analogy, the flight of the church is a little bit like an airplane. On its destination, its millennial destination, it might get delayed. It might be going too fast or too slow sometimes. It might be flying too high or too low in altitude from its flight plan, its intended flight plan. It might be a few degrees off, port or starboard. God is letting His pilots, His captains, His prophets fly the plane based on the situations and circumstances that they find the flight in. But remember that He is overseeing it from the control tower. He is watching the radar. He's messaging to His servants about what they should and shouldn't do and how to correct the plane or fly around a storm or deal with an oncoming, unforeseen situation. The point is, He will not let the plane crash and kill its saints that it's carrying. He will not let it fly to an unintended destination. He will bring that plane with its covenant saints into its celestial destination, even though there needs to be adjustments along the flight path as a whole. None of us should blindly follow. We will all be accountable for our own spirituality, our own actions, our own beliefs, our own behaviors before God. Brigham Young said, I don't want you to blindly follow us as prophets. I want you to get your own revelation and your own testimonies about what we teach. But we also have to be very careful that we don't become a law unto ourselves and become prophets unto ourselves, as section 1 of the Doctrine and Covenants warns that we all just create a God in our own image and walk in our own way. It's almost a little bit like, you and I, back to you can't follow past prophets and you can't try to get ahead of prophets either. You and I can't go on the freeway and hitch up a horse and trot down the middle of the freeway on a horse. And when a police officer pulls us over and says, what are you doing? I can't say, well, people have rid horses down this road for centuries, because that's not the current law. That's not currently allowable. That's in the past and that's been taken away. I also can't get on the freeway and put my car to automatically go 150 miles an hour and pull out my digital device and just watch a movie. Maybe I have a Tesla or something that can do that for me. Well, that might be where driving goes in the future. It might be. And we might be able to do that in the future, and it's perfectly within the law, but it's not in the law now. And if I do that now, I'll get pulled over. I can't say, yeah, but one day, decades from now, this is what will happen. We are always held, and God will judge us based off the standards established in the current law by His current key-holding servants who reveal and establish that law for His covenant saints.
A few question their faith when they find a statement made by a church leader decades ago that seems incongruent with our doctrine. There's an important principle that governs the doctrine of the church. The doctrine is taught by all 15 members of the First Presidency and Quorum of the 12. It is not hidden in an obscure paragraph of one talk. True principles are taught frequently and by many. Our doctrine is not difficult to find.